A guy on my YouTube channel named Richard, what's his name here? Richard Van Giesen took issue with me on my statement that about the 401k plans and how this guy who wrote for MarketWatch says the 401k plans are insufficient. We're all going to die. We don't have enough savings. Because I said, look, it's the EPI, man. Come on, the EPI, Employee Policy Institute, a bunch of lefties. And Richard said, here's their study. You didn't read it thoroughly. I said, yeah, you're right. I didn't read it because I don't trust them as far as I could kick them. But I said, if you want to put a link, give it to me and I'll be happy to read it. So he sent this to me as to validate that I am wrong. And let's, oh man, the pain is too much here. So let's dive into this a little bit. Look, where do I want to start? I want to start with the idea that the adequacy of retirement is completely in the eyes of the beholder. All right, so what did I tell you what I mean by that? Just because some researcher says retirement planning is adequate or inadequate, I could care less what they say. Why? Why do they say that? That's what we want to know. And so EPI and others on the left will say because we need 85% of pre-retirement income in which to have adequate savings for retirement. And then you want to say the next question is, why do you think that? And if they say, well, because you're not going to have to pay taxes and stuff, but you still want to maintain that same level of income at pre-retirement, why do you think that? You see what I'm saying? I'm not a lawyer. My man Rob is the Socratic method, whatever. We just ask him why. Let's dive deep into why we think this. What is the evidence? What is the evidence that the vast majority of retirees want to maintain that pre-retirement level of income? And from when is that pre-level of income going to be maintained? When I'm 60, when I'm 50, when I'm 30? You see what I'm saying? There's so many what ifs, ands, or buts in there. That's insane. And so it's all speculation. No evidence at all to say that we have evidence that Americans need to maintain 85% of pre-retirement income. And what would that pre-retirement income be the last year in retirement? Why? That's the most, I don't know. Anyway, so let's forget that. All right. Part two. Let's just dive into this, man. Because I want to go into a couple things. So there's a glaring omission in here that actually ticks me off. And so let's just read. I want to see if I can't make this bigger. Excuse me, little Pablo. Is that what I need to do there? Hold on a sec. There's a glaring omission here that I can't believe that. I just is nuts. I want to show you what they say that they're big on pensions right here. The evidence presented in this chart book is that the retirement system does not work, underscores the importance of preserving and expanding Social Security, defending defined benefit pensions. All right. I don't think these people know what is going on in the real world. And the reason I say it is because DB plans are the most discriminatory plans there could possibly be. If you don't know how an employer-sponsored plan under ERISA works, you have no clue how discriminatory DB plans could be. Just look at your local dentist office. The dentist, or probably the owner, is the older guy. He's got a staff of young folks. They're going to do a cash benefit plan, which is going to be geared towards the older people. Most of the younger people are going to have freaking peanuts put in there, but the dentist himself is going to have significant cash flow put into his DB plan. Significant. Now, if the older people stay on board, if there are some older hygienists or something like that, they'll benefit as well. Don't get me wrong. But the vast majority of people in a dental firm, at least my experience, has been on the lower young side, not making much money. And so because of that, they are getting pennies to the dollars that the dentist is putting in. So I've never understood this idea that the defined benefit plans are more equal than DC plans. It's simply not true. Now, you can talk about highly compensated employees, HCE's rules on defined contribution plans, and that actually makes defined contribution plans even more equal. Talk about safe harbor contributions on defined contribution plans as well. All this you may or may not know, but the idea that the defined benefit plans, i.e. pensions, are more equal than they are for defined contributions, only ignorant would know that, would say that, because it's simply not. I'm telling you, talk to any TPA, any third-party administrator who knows what they're doing. The first thing they're going to say is they're going to go after businesses where they can get that owner, who's also an older and a highly compensated employee. They can shield a ton of money and through the DB plan, whereas they're discriminating against the lower end workers and the younger for sure. I'm just telling you, man, it's crazy how these people don't get that. It's nuts. All right. What I want to show you though. All right, so the retirement savings of Americans, how the shift to 401ks has increased gaps in income preparedness on income, race, ethnicity. Everything with these guys is race and ethnicity. It's crazy. But anyway, I want to show you something. Now they do. All right, so my man Richard, he said they did say 32 to 61-year-old. All right, so I was saying if you take the people under 30, you throw them out. You can't include those in your graph that says the vast majority of people don't have any retirement savings because a lot of those people work in retail. So this does that. So to his credit, this does say people 32 to 61. It's weird that they're using 32 as a number, but okay, all right, I grant you that. Let's look at this though, because here's where it gets funny. All right, so their defined contribution plans are basically IRAs, 401ks, TSPs, presumably, but traditional pension plans are the defined benefit plans are just pension plans. All right, let's see. I want to show you something though. All right, so throughout the chart book, we use the retirement account savings to refer to savings in defined contribution plans such as 401ks, IRAs, and other plans in which participants accrue account balances. Now, the interesting thing is they're using this from the Federal Reserve. Is it actually the Survey of Consumer Finances, I think, from the Federal Reserve. Yeah, Survey of Consumer Finances. Yeah, okay. Anyway, they're using the SCF. And they're using retirement account savings solely for 401ks, IRAs, and other plans which participants preferred tax-deferred accounts. That's defined contribution. All right. We reserve the pension. Well, okay, may opt to. Hold on a second, though. I want to show you something else. All right, let me pause this real quick because this is funny. Hold on. Right here. Most of the charts focus on retirement account savings. We just talked about that, 401k, IRA, DC plans. And they're including IRAs. The measure excludes assets held by defined benefit pension plans which are not account type plans. So they're going to show us how the state of American retirement savings is bad, but they're not going to include, I mean, look at this. This right here. All right, so here is retirement 401k style plans right here is more than retirement wealth has grown nearly twice as fast as income. Assets in retirement plans as a percent of personal disposable income has grown significantly, but they're not including traditional defined benefit plans and their overall thing about how bad things are. How can you exclude that and turn around and say we have a retirement crisis? Well, Josh, not that many people have DB plans. The hell they don't. There's still a significant millions of people have defined benefit plans. Not to include that in your numbers is insane. Look at that right there. Retirement wealth has grown nearly twice as fast as income. That's what we want. Going back to 1990. Man, and look at that. Even here 2000, 2002, and here's 2007 and 8. But then we're excluding this whole dark blue thing or turquoise. It's insane to me that you wouldn't. It frustrates me no end. All right, so look at that. Retirement wealth has grown nearly twice as fast as income. Assets, I just can't. Retirement plan participant, just like I said, if we take out the people, what I said is like if we use, when I show you the people who are basically 30 years or younger, and we don't include those, 54% of the population has some sort of plan. All right, so 19% has a defined benefit plan, and 9% has both. So that's that's almost 30% of the people we're not including in their numbers because they don't include defined benefit plans. So we have 44% of the people have DC plans, retirement 401ks. 19% of the people only have defined benefit plans. 9% of the people have both. So we're not going to use the 9% of the people have both or the 19% of the people have defined benefit plans, or at least a portion of the 9%. So we're going to say at least a quarter of the assets or the people with assets aren't being included in the overall numbers. And yet, geez, man. And again, 54% of the people participate, whereas that article said only 40% of the people participate. And the reason we said that article was wrong was because exactly right. When you factor in, if you include defined benefit plans and 401k plans in a certain age group, which in this case they do, to their credit, you have more than half the people participate in some kind of retirement plan. Now remember, these are just retirement plans. This does not even include regular brokerage accounts or bank accounts, never mind equity in a home. So if I am not participating in an IRA right now, I'm not contributing into it. Does that, I don't know. I just don't feel like reading it. But let's just say I have an IRA, but I'm not participating in it. Am I included in this? I don't know, because it says participate. I have one, but I'm not participating in adding to it. But I do participate in adding to a non-qualified account. The share of families with retirement savings grew in the 1990s, but declined after the Great Recession. Well, welcome to the club, man. I mean, why would that shock anybody? The share of families with retirement savings grew, but declined after the Great Recession. Yeah, because a lot of people got swamped in the Great Recession. That doesn't shock me. That's no cause for alarm. It just says, man, the Great Recession sucked. Retirement savings has stagnated in the new millennium. And here's what cracks me up. You got the whole working age, 32 to 61. And again, so to credit, I missed that. I said if you factor in people under 30. But look, I mean, here, with retirement savings, this is the whole population here. Still, they got $121,000, and I think this is mean. Yeah, average. Okay. Now, the difference between mean and median is pretty significant here, but let's just use it for the time being. 55s, 50, this is what... All right, so if you take the 32 to 37 cohort, of course they're going to have lower amounts because they're just starting out. If you take the people who are closest to retirement, of course they're going to have more. So why even include these people as part of the retirement crisis when they have 30, 20 years yet to go before they need to draw on the money? It doesn't make sense. These are the cohorts, I'd say 55 to 61 that you should look at. And the cohort 56 to 61 has $243,000 on average. I get that's an average. It's skewed towards the higher wealthy. I get it. And this cohort right here, 50-55, has 133. So we just take the people of 50, because that's what freaking Consuelo Max said, or not Consuelo, Teresa Jill Dilchey. The people who are in crisis are 50 to 64. That's what she said. And she is on the EPI board. And Consuelo Max said the vast majority. It's simply not true. If we take these people right here, that's what we're trying to accomplish for the retirement crisis. The retirement crisis is a non-starter for people in the 30s. It doesn't matter because they're not retiring in the next 30 years. Most families have little or no retirement savings. Okay, so now again, we're just talking about retirement accounts. We're not including defined benefits. So if you can't, sorry, buddy, I scared him. I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. And again, this is 2016. So we've had now 3 years of sustained growth. 2006, 17, 18, and 2019 has incredible. So to this year alone, we're up 30%. 2017, I think we're up like 30%. I think 2018, we're down. The S&P was down like 4% or something like that. But we've had 34 down and then up 30, something like that. We'll say 20, I don't care. Up 20, down 4, up 30. So we're not even taking the last 3 years into consideration. More people have 401ks. Participation in traditional pensions is more equal. See, this is the whole thing with these liberals. They want everything equal. They don't want anyone up there. And you know what they say in the Soviet Union? What if a corn stalk grows higher than the rest? You chop off the head. That's what you do. You chop off the heads of the overproducers. Crazy. And again, you don't know anything about defined benefit plans if you think defined benefit plans are more equal than defined contribution plans. You just don't know. Here we go. The gaps between the haves and have-nots. Okay, I don't care. I just, at the end of the day, get out of California, get out of New York, and get out of DC, my friends. Get out of your bubble where you have significant haves and have-nots, and how ironic that those are run by the most liberal people there are. Retirement account savings are inadequate and unequal. Again, more unequal, and I don't know how you define inadequacy. I mean, if you're looking at someone who's 32 and saying it's adequate, it's just silly. High income families are 7 times as likely to have retirement account savings. Okay, again, the unequalness of it. Black, now we're going to talk about racial things. And look, man, at the end of the day, I am open to some idea, not for Hispanic families, but for Blacks, some kind of, I don't know what it would be. And I hate to say reparations because that's so, I don't know. But I was listening to a guy the other day who's, it was on the Reason podcast. I forgot his name, Thomas Clatterton Smith or something like that, who's half black. His dad was black, born in the South, and was discriminated against. I mean, literally, it was he's talking about it, and this guy, Thomas, he said, I'm giving up my blackness. He said, I'm half black. I was always raised black, but I'm just giving up because I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to have anything to do with race. When his wife was white, his mom is white, his daughter is white, essentially. He goes, what do we do here? We're saying we're black for what reason at all? And I thought it was pretty interesting. Now, that does not mean he's a big conservative. He's not. He's a big lip. But he says we got to get over the concept of race, and the way we start is by myself saying I'm not black, I'm not white, I just am. I thought that was pretty interesting. But even he was not against some sort of reparations package for blacks. And I'm sympathetic to that. I don't know what it'd be. I don't know what it consists of. But the facts are multi-generational wealth hasn't happened for blacks. It hasn't. Simply because they hadn't had the right to freaking own property, to vote. Never mind the fact they were property at some point. And and some people say, well, they're better off here than they were in Africa. I hear that, and I think it's seductive to follow that. Like the blacks that we have in the United States are wealthier here than they were in Africa. But man, you're comparing two completely different things. You got to compare their colleagues, and the contemporaries here versus what was. I mean, it's like that would be like saying I don't know. I don't like that argument. I think it's crass, frankly. They may be better off financially, but were they better off? I don't know, because they didn't have the choice, and they were discriminated against. They're held back. And I can't lie. I think America suffered from that as well, obviously for slavery, but not using ingenuity of all these mass amount of talented people that could have been creating stuff, but we held them back. It's sad. All right, so I'm done with this. That's the EPI article. I'll let you read. I'll put a link in the show notes again. I just find not using. I already shared with you. My thing is again. Look, man, you can torture the numbers and they'll confess to anything. I think that's what these guys are trying to do here. All right, we'll see you.